I'm Peyton at the 2012 Crossroads Film Festival here in Jackson, Mississippi, and I am here with Mary Goodson. Thank you so much for sitting down with me.
I'm happy to.
And we are at the Mississippi Museum of Art. The awards bruncheon this morning is being co-hosted with the Mississippi Humanities Council. And so we're doing a little food for thought, chats and stuff like that. So Mary, let's hear it. Do you have any, you know, food is so important to all of us. Do you have any stories, early memories, or some really good Southern food stories that you might like to share with us?
Well, my earliest memory as a child was my grandfather had a little kitchen garden out by the house. They lived in Collins and they had acreage and farm, and he raised you know, enough cattle for us to have fresh grass-fed beef every year, and he'd have chickens and that sort of thing, and he had a little garden. And I can remember as a tiny child following my grandfather out to the garden. We'd pick the corn and we'd shuck it on the way back to the house, and my grandmother would have the water boiling to cook the corn, throw it in, and in less than 5 minutes we had fresh corn from the garden. And I've never been able to duplicate the taste of that corn, because you can't get it unless you're walking outside in the yard to get that corn. It never has tasted the same, and I remember that as vividly as anything. And I was maybe 4. You know, very small child. My grandmother also had a cooking column in the Collins newspaper for over 50 years. And she was an excellent cook, and she taught me cooking and appreciation for food and all of that. And we're now compiling all of her recipes into a cookbook so that everyone can enjoy all of her recipes.
That's
from
so
the
great. She
had a weekly column, had all these, you know, old-fashioned recipes, and it was fun going through them, because in the 60s there was lots of Jell-O and, you know, and molded salads and things like that, and things with Miracle Whip, and, you know, you could see the new products hitting the market by the years in her column. So we've had a lot of fun with that. We've really enjoyed doing that. We're anxious to get that going.
And do y'all have a title or anything in the works for
Not
the book?
at the moment. Her column was called The Kitchen Corner, I believe. The Kitchen Corner. And everyone in Covington County knew her, and she'd make cakes, and every time the bank opening, she'd do all these decorated cookies, and she did these pecan Easter eggs that were all elaborately decorated, and she had quite a reputation, at least in Covington County. Everybody had enjoyed her cakes and things. So
fun.
We're anxious to pursue that too. So. Well,
that's exciting, and it seems like you have an interesting perspective to add, especially for a current day viewpoint where we're all starting to realize that, you know, maybe we do want to get back to this kind of, you know, food that comes from the earth, you know, with your corn story and stuff like that. So what's your perspective on that, with, you know, us moving more towards, you know, chemical-free stuff, more kind of organic?
I was recently diagnosed with celiac disease, so I have had a whole shift in the way that I eat, because I can't tolerate soy, wheat, eggs, milk. It leaves me with corn and cardboard to eat pretty much. But and I find that I'm very sensitive. I found that I'm very sensitive to preservatives as well.
Me too.
So you know, a salad in a restaurant is out of the question now, because of the type of thing that they put on it to preserve it and make it all fresh and wonderful. So I do a lot of my own cooking. I do a lot of, you know, local produce market, farmers markets, where I'm fairly sure we're not getting into a lot of preservatives. I buy organic when I can, and, you know, just eat more natural, less processed, and I think that's the way everyone is going to be heading in the next few years, because the stuff they're putting in our foods is unhealthy, and we're finding that out.
And we're finally starting to realize all that kind of stuff.
For a long time we've been guinea pigs, and they, you know, well, we'll put it in there and then we'll see what happens. And we've run into all kinds of problems with hormones and pesticides, and we're still not sure what exactly that's doing to our children and to our bodies. So, you know, I think the more we can just eat simply and eat healthily and eat locally, the better off we're all going to be.
Yeah.
You know.
What a wonderful perspective. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with me, Mary. And this has been at the 2012 Crossroads Film Festival with the Humanities Council co-hosting brunch for the awards ceremony. And I want to thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.